All she did was accidentally cut her hand while pulling up her jeans. But the moment her blood touched the denim, it awakened something terrifying hidden inside the fabric. The woman could never have imagined that the pair of jeans she was wearing would eventually kill her. She worked at a trendy clothing store, and that night the company was hosting a special Monday Madness event. Management ordered the entire staff to work overnight preparing for the launch of their newest product, the Super Shapers Slimming Jeans, which just happened to be the same pair the woman was wearing in the bathroom. These jeans were the company's star product. The advertisements hyped them up like crazy, claiming they could perfectly fit any body type and instantly turn anyone into a flawless beauty. Right as the company founder was passionately giving employees another empty motivational speech, one of the women wearing the jeans suddenly started having stomach pain. At first, she didn't think much of it. Assuming it was just her period, she clutched her stomach and rushed toward the bathroom. She planned to take the jeans off inside a stall and rest for a moment, but that's when the horror began. The jeans wouldn't come off. The harder she pulled, the tighter they squeezed around her body, almost as if they were alive. Panicking, the woman screamed for help while bracing her legs against the stall door, desperately trying to yank the jeans off. But the jeans seemed to have developed a mind of their own. Sensing her fear, they suddenly began attacking. The tightening waistband became like a meat grinder, slicing her body clean in half at the waist as blood instantly flooded across the floor. After killing her, the jeans slid off the corpse and suddenly started moving like a vacuum cleaner, licking every drop of blood off the walls and floor until no evidence remained. Once the cleanup was finished, one of the 4 blank logos on the jeans turned red. It was both a kill mark and a symbol of their growing power. Meanwhile, the boss had just finished his motivational meeting, and the employees all returned to work like they'd been injected with adrenaline, preparing for tomorrow's launch event. Not long after, the store manager Craig realized the employee who went to the bathroom still hadn't returned, immediately losing his temper and ordering the curly-haired girl to go check on her. The woman reluctantly walked into the restroom, but the moment she opened the door, she spotted the jeans hanging over the stall. Having great fashion taste herself, she completely forgot why she came in the second she saw the new jeans and quickly put them on. But something terrifying happened again. The jeans suddenly took control of her body, forcing her to perform a bizarre dance with stiff zombie-like movements that looked completely unnatural. She tried to stop, but she couldn't control her body at all and could only let the jeans manipulate her step by step toward a sharp wall hook. A dull thud echoed through the restroom. Blood sprayed everywhere, and the woman instantly died on the spot. And after killing its second victim, the jeans unlocked a new ability, crawling. Taking advantage of everyone being busy preparing the event space, the jeans quietly hid in the shadows and waited for the next unlucky victim. Meanwhile, Craig also started getting suspicious. Thinking the 2 female employees were slacking off in the restroom, he sent Libby to check on them. Libby always listened to his manager, so he walked straight to the restroom, only to smell a heavy stench of blood the second he opened the door. As his eyes scanned beneath the sink, he suddenly noticed a strand of hair sticking out from inside a cabinet. Holding his breath, he slowly opened it, and the sight nearly made him throw up. Inside the cramped cabinet was the mutilated corpse of his coworker, sliced clean in half with blood and flesh everywhere. Terrified out of his mind, Libby stumbled back into the main store and frantically explained everything to Craig. He assumed the manager would immediately call the police, but Craig wasn't scared at all. The only thing on his mind was tomorrow's product launch. He worried that if the police arrived now, the entire store would be shut down, destroying not only his commission bonus but also his dreams of getting promoted. So instead of saving lives, the cold-blooded manager's first instinct was to cover everything up and convince Libby to keep quiet until the launch event was over. As a naive newcomer just entering the workforce, Libby lacked the judgment to tell right from wrong, especially after Craig started painting him a future full of promotions and success. In the end, Libby agreed to help hide the bodies and keep the truth from everyone else for the time being. But secrets like this never stay buried for long. The next victim was Toby. The second he saw the jeans, he instantly fell in love with the design and rushed into the storage room to try them on. But the jeans were even more impatient than he was. The moment he entered the warehouse, they attacked him directly, opening up like some bloodthirsty monster and tearing into him. Less than 5 minutes later, Toby had been ripped into pieces alive. After killing him, the jeans cleaned themselves spotless once again, and another logo turned red with blood. When Craig finally arrived at the warehouse, the entire room looked completely normal again, with only a storage box sitting on the floor. Curious, he opened it and instantly froze. Inside were Toby's dismembered remains. Unfortunately, Libby happened to witness the entire thing too. Desperate to keep the situation under control, Craig immediately promised that as long as Libby stayed quiet, he'd make him a full-time employee after the launch event and even promote him to supervisor within 3 years. Faced with such tempting promises, Libby gave in once again. Soon, midnight arrived. A famous influencer had been invited to the store to live stream and promote the company's newest jeans. But he had no idea he wasn't walking into a clothing store. He was walking into a slaughterhouse. Coincidentally, the killer jeans happened to be the sample pair for the live stream. At first, the influencer enthusiastically hyped them up to the camera, saying the jeans looked amazing and could make anyone appear 20 pounds slimmer. But before he could finish speaking, the jeans suddenly wrapped around his neck and demonstrated their flexibility firsthand. Even as he died, the influencer couldn't believe he was being murdered by a pair of jeans. His assistant quickly ended the live stream, and nobody watching online realized the horrifying massacre happening off camera. By now, the clothing store had turned into a bloody nightmare. The jeans began attacking everyone indiscriminately. Anyone they encountered became a target, and after every kill, they still made sure to clean up the blood. Of course, the jeans weren't perfect. Right as they prepared to attack an Indian employee named Shruti, music from an Indian song suddenly started playing on her phone, and strangely enough, the violent jeans instantly started dancing to the rhythm after hearing the music. Their movements became incredibly smooth, completely losing the murderous aura from moments earlier, which allowed Shruti to escape. The entire dance was accidentally captured on camera. That's when Libby finally realized the jeans had a weakness, so he immediately found Shruti and showed her the footage from the camera. After discussing things, the two decided to leave and call the police, but unfortunately, they were already too late because midnight was the scheduled time for the influencer event, and exactly 1 hour later, the store's automatic security system locked every exit until opening time the next morning. With nowhere else to go, the two rushed into the security room where Craig was already hiding. The room had access to microphones and surveillance cameras, allowing them to track every movement the jeans made. Libby suddenly came up with an idea. If the jeans could understand Indian music, maybe they could understand language too. When a mannequin controlled by the jeans appeared on one of the monitors, Shruti cautiously greeted it in Hindi, only to discover that the jeans not only understood her, but also revealed a horrifying secret. Using a severed hand, the jeans began writing their story across the wall. Her name was Chira, and she had grown up in a poor village in India. Because her family couldn't afford school tuition, she was sold to a cotton factory as a child laborer, and that factory happened to be a supplier for the same clothing company. The two companies secretly worked together, pretending to be ethical businesses while their hands were stained with the blood of child workers. The tragedy happened one afternoon while Chira was working in the factory like usual, but her clothes accidentally got caught in one of the high-speed cotton machines. She struggled desperately, yet the machine still dragged her inside, spraying blood across the surrounding cotton. But after the factory owner discovered what happened, he didn't call the police and instead covered up the accident immediately. Then the blood-soaked cotton was packaged and shipped as normal to Libby's clothing company, where it was eventually turned into multiple pairs of jeans, and one of those pairs became possessed by Chira's vengeful spirit, transforming into the killer jeans now slaughtering everyone inside the store. That's why she had decided to kill every greedy capitalist responsible for exploiting workers like her. After hearing the story, Libby stepped outside and promised with complete sincerity that he would expose everything to the media and make sure the people responsible were punished. The jeans seemed to understand him and made the mannequin nod in agreement. But right at that moment, Craig suddenly rushed forward holding a fire extinguisher and interrupted the conversation. His attack completely enraged the jeans. Unlike Libby, Craig didn't care about injustice or dead children because the only things he cared about were tomorrow's launch event and his dream of promotion and higher pay. But because of his actions, the jeans completely lost faith in humanity, using pure hatred to revive countless other pairs of jeans and unleash them across the entire store. The unluckiest person was Craig himself, who got swarmed by countless pairs of jeans and literally torn into pieces. By the time Libby found him, the army of jeans had already lined up neatly throughout the store, silently waiting for customers to arrive the next morning. Libby tried stepping forward to reason with them, but before he could even finish speaking, the front doors automatically unlocked. The moment the army of jeans saw excited customers rushing in, they immediately lined up to welcome them. Libby desperately blocked the entrance and warned everyone to leave, but nobody listened to him. The woman charging in front shoved Libby aside without hesitation and rushed straight toward the jeans. None of them realized they were walking directly toward death.